She makes a good point, dear. Running this farm with my family for the sake of our little colony is one of the greatest pleasures in life.
We were learning about Jemison in my class the other day. Can we go there someday, Mama?
Put that back.
We Titans are hardy people. You'd have to be to live in a place like this.
Papa, you're always talking about how important it is to preserve our traditions. But why do we have...
Ah, someone new. Are you a tourist, or have you just moved to New Homestead? Oh, you should probably know then that homes aren't the same as where you're probably from. You'd be lucky to own a private room, let alone a whole hab unit of your own, but don't let that scare you away. It's quite cozy and pleasant here. I'm fascinated by the other worlds in the settled systems. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Oh, wonderful. What's New Atlantis like? Oh my, that sounds incredible. Ever since I overheard one of the tourists speaking about it, I've always wanted to go. We hear about it, of course, but we rarely get much exposure to other worlds beyond the people who come from them to visit our little colony. I wonder if I can convince Nathaniel to go on a trip there with me and our daughter. Do you mind if I ask you another question? Thanks. I promise not to take too much of your time. Is the Freestar Collective as lawless as I've heard? I figured the stories weren't all true. How else would you expect people to live together if you can't trust in laws to keep everyone safe? Even in a small community like ours, we have to maintain law and order. Though, I understand it gets difficult to always protect that out in the vastness of space. I imagine it's the same in the Freestar Collective. Is it okay if I change the subject? Oh, thank you. Are there really planets full of plants, fresh air, and water? Really? I would think anything is better than what we have outside. I'd love to be able to leave the colony without worrying about putting on a suit. I've heard that people can go outside freely on those worlds, but perhaps some of you travelers just get used to it, having been all around the settled systems. You should learn not to take it for granted. Can I ask you something else? Oh, thank you. Is space travel as exciting as it seems? I've heard stories about pirates and spaceship malfunctions and all sorts of terrible things. I've always wanted to try going into space, but I'm also worried about all those dangers. Maybe people here are right. The dangers here are few, and we know how to take care of them. Space is too unknown. Those are all the questions I have at the moment. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day for me. Thanks again for taking the time to answer questions for me. I learned a lot from you. Hello. Don't mind me. I love talking with off-worlders like you.
I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving home. You got anything to say for yourself? Listen here. Mara's free to make her own decisions. I'm not here to control her if that's what you're insinuating. But that doesn't mean I take kindly to other people manipulating her and telling her the other worlds are full of sunshine and rainbows. We live a simple traditional life here, and it's important to the community that we maintain that. Do you understand? People rely on technology too much. We need to remember how to perform the basics to survive in case we ever find ourselves without said technology. We need to remember where we came from, Earth, this system, lest we forget and repeat the same mistakes as before. We're one of the last colonies charged with that preservation. That's why it's important. Traditions like the way we tend this farm, strong family ties, early colonial life. We do it all with the bare minimum technologies to survive. Everything else is hard work done by humans. It's good for humanity's soul. Good. I know it's not easy for you types, but this is our home. I'm glad you found it in you to respect that. I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving home. You got anything to say for yourself? Listen here. Mara's free to make her own, but that doesn't mean I take... We live a simple tradition. It's not. Thank you for realizing that. I'm sure you didn't mean anything by it, so we're good. I overheard you speaking to my wife. You got anything to say for yourself? Listen here. But that doesn't mean... We live a simple... We're going to have to agree to disagree then. I only ask that you respect our wishes. I overheard you speaking to my wife. You got anything to say for yourself? That's what I thought. Now I'd appreciate if you keep... I don't expect you to understand why it's important our people stay here and keep our traditional... It's not. Thank you. I'm sure you didn't mean anything by it.
Don't tell my papa, but I'm the one who's been putting up the pictures of that silly space frog guy around here. Hello? I'm not really supposed to talk with tourists, but I kind of want to anyway. And I don't think my papa is paying attention. You're not going to tell him, are you? Oh, I guess that's okay. I wouldn't want to make you lie. My mama always tells me it's not good to lie. Now what should we talk about? I think it's pretty fun. And I get to be around my mama and my papa all day, so that's cool. They say we all have to work a little, because it takes all of us to make the community work. Just like on Earth a really, really, really long time ago. Someday, I think it'd be cool to see other places and do other things, but this is fine for now. My mama says it's because he thinks we'd up and leave if we found out about the rest of the worlds out there. But I keep telling him, I love it here, and I love him, and I would never leave him. He doesn't believe it. He says the kids almost always want to leave when they grow up. But not me. Nope. I just want to visit somewhere else. Maybe. Not really. There's some, though. Most are around my age. We all go to school in the same room. I don't know. I've never been to any other schools. We mostly learn about the history of the solar system and Earth and stuff like that until we get old enough to go on our learning vacation. That's when we get to leave to go to school somewhere else for a few years, or travel and visit other worlds, try out jobs and stuff. Oh, I can't wait. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me. We were learning about Jemison in my class the other day. Can we go there someday, Nana?
We talked about this, Sylvie. If you want to go there for your learning vacation when you're older, but not until then.
Papa, you're always talking about how important it is to preserve our traditions. But why do we have to farm? How is that part of our tradition?
Well, we tend to farm here because we need to grow food. And that's what our ancestors did on Earth.
But didn't they have big open fields and giant machines? We don't have any of that.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job observing its traditions.
Hey, welcome back. Can I get you something else?
No, thanks. I just had a question about the, food.
Sure thing.
Do people on other worlds really eat this stuff? I mean, I'm no stranger to processed protein. This is... well, it's like eating the packaging the protein comes in. I don't see what the appeal is.
Chunks in for everyone, but I'll tell you, this is the most popular food in the settled system. They must be doing something right.
Maybe it's just me then. Oh well, more for everyone else.
Put
We
that
used
back.
to get more tourists than we do these days.
Don't tell my wife, but I actually prefer Chunks to her cooking. Don't get me wrong, her cooking is great.
The Chunks family is happy to see you and to serve you. What can I get you?
Word of advice, steer clear of the doctor here. She really seems to have a problem with tourists for some reason.
I still can't believe people actually live like this. I'm learning so much here. Everyone should visit at least once in their life.
Sure.
You get used to the methane processing smell after a while.
Whew. It's so cold here. I guess I should have expected
Oh,
that.
I'm all glad they
I've
have
seen
a
those silly
chunks
little
here.
space frog posters somewhere else. Never thought I'd see them here.
It's been a while since I last visited. Nice to see this place still has the same charm.
Things have never been better since this Chunks opened up. Makes me feel like we're actually part of the UC.
Welcome to Chunks. Please choose your chunks. Chunks are the highest quality ingredients sourced from all over the settled systems. And, I forget the rest. Ugh. All I am legally allowed to say is that our chunks meet all known minimum standards for nutrition. Great. What can I get for you?
Hello there. Welcome to the new Homestead Chunks. We've got all your Chunks' favorites. Well, almost all of them. Sadly, we're out of the special sauce. I know. But everything else is still that great Chunks food you know and love. So, what can I do for you? Oh, you had to go and ask the hard questions, huh? How can I pick just one? There's chicken chunks, beef chunks, potato chunks, cheesesteak chunks, cheesecake chunks. You know what? I'm gonna cheat if you don't mind, and just say I love them all equally. You know I do. And what's not to love? It's delicious, nutritious, easy, fast, inexpensive. It sure makes my hungry belly sing for joy. Yeah. My wife thinks I eat too much Chunks food, but I just can't help myself. It's so good. Well, people gotta eat, you know? But seriously, I think we're just starting to get with the times a little. And I can't think of a better restaurant than Chunks to usher that in. I think corporate just saw New Homestead as an untapped market. I mean, the locals may not eat it, but the tourists love having a taste of home. Sure. What delicious Chunks food can I get for you? If I'm completely honest, it is. And people are always saying how this Chunks can't compare to the real deal. And I just know it's because we never had that mouth-watering sauce. I've been in contact with some of the other restaurants out there, and they'll give me some, but they say they can't afford to send it, and I don't have a ship, so what am I to do? For real, good question. They haven't said, but I think it has something to do with them prioritizing other Chunks over mine. I guess it's made at a different facility than our other food, and they don't even want to pay the shipping cost to ship from another store to ours. Yeah, sometimes I get lucky and a cargo hauler passes through with a route that takes them near other Chunks and back again, but there's no guarantee. You bet it is. You may not hear people talk about it, but trust me, it's the secret ingredient. It's like the glue that holds it all together. I mean, not literally. I'm not saying it's glue or that our food falls apart. It's delightful. Tangy, savory, it's a little sweet, but not too sweet. And I've noticed that once people find out we don't have it, sometimes they don't return. It's the reason business isn't as good as other Chunks. Wait, for real? You do that? You're not pulling my leg? Oh, yeah, right. I actually just got a message back from another Chunks before you got here, and they got a case ready to go for me. Just tell them you're there to pick it up for me, and it should be good to go. Thanks.
There are times I envy those who are able to travel like you. Hello there. Are you here to peruse our little museum exhibit? Ah, I could see how that might not be clear, given that it's displayed in the main concourse here. But if you take a look, you'll notice our collection of rare Earth antiquities salvaged from before the collapse. It's quite the unique glimpse into our past. If you have any questions about the exhibit or New Homestead, I'm happy to answer as best as I can. It's an interesting story. New Homestead began as a scientific research base called the Titan Astrobase, back when space travel was in its infancy. The hope was that humanity would be able to discover simple alien life here given the moon's composition and water supply. When that ultimately failed, it was repurposed as a colony research base where scientists and engineers studied how to build colonies on it. Then, finally, when gravity drives were commonplace and we started finding Earth-like planets, New Homestead was born as a living history community to preserve that. When our early colonists learned of Earth's demise, they decided to take on the names of their cities of origin as a way to remember their heritage. Now, some may have been lost in translation over the years, and some may have taken it more seriously than others, but the names are mostly accurate. For instance, my family comes from the city of Lyon, in a country that was called... I am Maurice Lyon, and I am the community elder. As the oldest living citizen, I tell stories to the young people and the visitors. Although my memory isn't what it used to be, I try. Sure, I'd love... There was once a war so big that they say all of the world was involved. They fought because a terrible man named Hitler. Even the colony war pales. Why, certainly. There was a time when huge monstrosities called dinosaurs, their reign ended when I can never... Whatever it was... A long time ago, thousands of years, humans built a wall so large, they called it the Great Wall of China. And it was meant... I'll have to look it up. Of course, certainly. We have several items in our collection. We have everything from toys to antique technology to sports memorabilia. Most of our collection was donated by fellow Earth enthusiasts. Thanks for visiting. I'm sorry. What don't you get?
Earth? Like, what's the big deal? It's just another dead world.
It's where we're all from. It was a place of beauty and unimaginable history. I cannot overstate how important it was for all of humanity.
Boy, am I glad they have a chance here.
Maybe I need to look up more about it.
I can't imagine living here. These people sure are hardy.
I still can't believe people actually live like this.
Did you know the museum here is full of old Earth artifacts? Cool, huh?
I'm learning so much here.
Tell me some more about this.
Everyone should visit at least once in their life.
Did you see those wind turbines out there?
Wow! This isn't like any of the other tour services. I'm an actual citizen. What we offer is something different. In our program,
This colony is a lot smaller than I thought it would be.
You live like one of us for a period.
Word of advice: steer clear of the doctor here. She really seems to have a problem with doors.
Immersive. But
New homesteads quite
It is,
the learning
and the money you
Bring your
spend will go
kids.
towards helping the family and our community.
I could have sworn I've seen those
No.
silly little space frog posters somewhere else.
Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. Let me tell you, this place is full of history and interesting facts. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years. Well, there's plenty more where that came from if you're interested in taking one of my famous tours. So what do you say? I've got an opening. I could take you on a tour right now if you'd like. Definitely check out the Brown Horse Tavern. Good food, great atmosphere. Avoid spending too much time outdoors. It's freezing out there. Any more than that, and well, I'd be giving away the tour for free. Why would I want a tour of New Homestead, she says. Well, let me tell you, New Homestead is living history. These people are direct descendants of some of the first settlers to leave Earth. If you've ever wanted to know what that early colonial life was like, this is your chance to embark on a fun-filled exhibition unlike any other. None taken. I get it all the time. If you think it sounds made up, well, that's because it is. I come from an eccentric family. Back in the early days of space travel, generations ago, my ancestors were really into science fiction. They wanted a name that seemed like it fit into the stories they grew up with, so they changed their last name, and the Starsap family name was born. Used to be Bramblefoot before that. Their ancestors liked a different type of fiction. Excellent! You won't regret it! My tours are one of a kind! Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits. Well, 100 credits is very reasonable, I think. I know, I gotta work on my pitch a little. Maybe I could give you a discount just this once to prove my tour is worth it. I assure you it wasn't intentional. I really should have been upfront about the price. I thought maybe you saw one of the flyers. Maybe I could do something for you. Tell you what, I like you. This one's on the house, but if you enjoyed the tour, I'd really appreciate if you'd tell all your friends about me when it's done. So let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live.
It's one thing to learn about early colony life. It's another to experience
actually live here, so try to be respectful of that.
I'm sorry.
While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here. But more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me. Have any questions so far? I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds. The original Titan Astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here. Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy. Alrighty. We'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
Always so cold here.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost will shrivel and die. These pods are sealed and climate controlled for the environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
We were learning about Jemison in my class the other day.
Any questions about the farms?
Go there someday, Mama?
We talked about this, Sylvie.
Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems. These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well.
You know we can't afford to leave the farm.
Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet. Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking. But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here. Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site. Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up. Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage. You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet. Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
Anyway, where were we?
You don't know
history. Powering new homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astro base. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right! New Homestead's famous wind farms! This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. So, let's talk about wind power, shall we? You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect for sustained wind power. Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets. You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy, but these people were able to make do with it for hundreds of years. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work to this day. Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here. You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of this stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. Though, of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. Jim is gorgeous. Oh, I don't know what you'd call it. Creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right? Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. It's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. questions? Fire away! It's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput. During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs. Exports mostly, since this world is so methane-rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, New Homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen by a modern science. Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry. Okie dokie, Artichokey. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Ymir's Horn. This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here. So here it is, Ymir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like. According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits. Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it. I've heard this particular formation was caused by an ancient volcano. Something about steam and wind, then worn down over time. But I'm not 100% sure. Excellent. On to the next stop, then. So, we're gonna head back inside, through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. That brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and they respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface. What else can I tell you about the ice mines? I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over. Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told. Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves. Sounds good. Let's keep going then. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest-running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants hundreds of years before it was established. That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the Brown Horse? Anya Seattle is the current owner of the Brown Horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there. Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything. Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced. Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop, right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that. I hope you enjoyed Starsap Tours as much as I enjoyed giving them. Oh, wow. I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Homestead. Take care!
Word of advice, steer clear of the doctor here. She really seems to have a problem with tourists for some reason.
Hope you enjoyed the tour. Don't forget to tell your friends. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Come to New Homestead for the history. Stay for the quaint charm.
Ignore me. I'm nobody. Nobody at all. I don't have that kind of money. If I did, I wouldn't have to do what I do. What? There must be a mix-up. I hope it's a fine. I can pay a fine. You know, I could do that. Wow, never even thought about that possibility. I can't believe they put a bounty on my head. Good grief. Finally! I can't live like this anymore either. I'm ready to make things right. What a relief.
Hey, Kate, you don't have to be nervous about asking me if I've got any freebies. I know you don't have a lot of money. You know I'll always take care of you. I bought something off of it's real cheap. I think you're gonna like it. I'll drop by with it later.
People here live a simple life.
Wow.
Try not to complicate it.
I don't know what to say.
Don't worry about it. You just keep on being you. That's a nice outfit you got. I could probably offer you a good price for it. Well, hello there, and welcome to my little shop. Are you visiting New Homestead for the first time? Oh, nice. You know, it's always such a pleasure to meet people from other worlds. Or just space. I don't judge. I'm Jay. I'm happy to help you find what you're looking to buy or take a look at whatever you want to sell. Trades of all kinds are welcome here. Or if you have any questions for me about the shop, the merchandise, or even just New Homestead in general, I'm happy to help you. We used to, but not anymore. Believe it or not, the New Homestead Tourism Board decided a while back to do away with souvenirs. We don't really have the resources or facilities to make them here ourselves, and it was decided that anything less than that would seem exploitive of our people and inauthentic. Only thing we have are these souvenir slates about the history of New Homestead. Tell you what, I've got an extra one here that another guest left behind a while back. You can have it. I love them. Most of us in New Homestead appreciate what tourism does for our economic livelihood, so we go out of our way to make guests feel welcome. Some are indifferent about it, while a few others, I won't name names, are downright resentful of all the tourists and would prefer to be left alone. But that being said, I believe our generally friendly demeanor is a large part of what drives people to keep coming back. Glad you asked. I'm looking for all sorts of things. Anything, really. Clothing, weapons, jewelry, even stuff they consider junk. You name it. We don't get a lot of off-world stock, so I offer to buy things from travelers. Anything they're willing to part with. Between you and me, people around here talk a lot about tradition and whatnot, but even they get curious about what other worlds have to offer. Sure thing. I'm also interested in buying if you have anything for sale. Come back anytime.
I still can't believe people actually live like this.
Adrian, what can I do for you today, young lady?
I was just wondering if you maybe had, you know, if someone maybe...
Hey, you don't have to be nervous about asking me if I've got any freebies. I know you don't have a lot of money. You know I'll always take care of you. I bought something off a tourist real cheap. I think you're gonna like it. I'll drop by with it later, after I clean it up.
Wow. Thank you, Jay. I don't know what to say.
Don't worry about it. You just keep on being you.
All these tourists are able to come and go as they please. I wish I had that kind of money.
It's one thing to learn about early colony life, it's another to experience it.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over at the Brown
Hi there.
Horse.
Always nice seeing a new face.
Enjoy your visit here. How about those brownouts last week?
I know. I'm just glad the auxiliary power picked up. Remember that time a few years back where everyone had to huddle together for warmth?
Oh, the tourists hated that. Well, Joyce says she's on it. Something about the turbines freezing up again.
Joyce is great at what she does. I'm sure she'll handle it.
I'm not sure that these space frog pictures fit with our town's historical aesthetic, but they do bring a smile to my face.
Well, well, well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live
Hey,
here.
boss.
I wonder how they
Welcome
can
to
live
my old
anywhere else.
stomping grounds. Go ahead. I'm all ears. Shouldn't be a problem. You heard of New Homestead in the Sol System? Most people haven't. It's out in the sticks, on one of Saturn's moons. That's where I grew up. Not exactly the most exciting place to be a kid. It's got a lot of ice, a lot of wind, and not much of anything else. I wasn't exactly torn up about leaving to work for Argos. My family weren't still working the wind farms there. I don't think I'd ever go back. Oh yeah, big time. New Homestead was one of the first places people settled after we left Earth. Back then, wind power was all the rage. Some of the equipment at the farm's been around since the first generation of settlers made it to Titan. And it shows, let me tell you. Lots of people in New Homestead work there, including my mom. It's not the greatest job, but it sure beats the ice mines. Boss, I spent most of my time collecting rocks. For fun. That should tell you everything you need to know about the bustling metropolis that is New Homestead. The place makes Sidonia look like the big city. I had more fun freezing my ass off looking for meteorites than most New Homesteaders do in their entire lives. Not enough, according to my mom. But I try to get back every couple months, and I keep in touch when I'm not there. Yeah, I never saw myself living in New Homestead forever. To tell you the truth, I hope my family splits too. My mom's always talked about retiring to Jemison. Of course, that'd be a whole lot easier if she didn't have so many kids to look after. New Atlantis isn't exactly cheap. Hopefully she'll be able to move someday, though. I worry about her. Wind farming's a pretty dangerous job. Maybe someday, when my brothers are older. Lynn convinced me. She and some Argos miners stopped by my hometown on Titan to refuel, and I happened to be on shift at the spaceport that day. I noticed some rare minerals in her cargo hold and started chatting with her about them. She was impressed by how much I knew about geology and offered me the gig. It wasn't a hard sell. Lynn seemed like a decent boss, and the salary was great. Besides, my rock collection had gotten as big as it was gonna get on Titan. 8 years, give or take a couple months. It's been a great job. Pays decent, and my rock collection's never looked better. No way. Whatever you found down there had some seriously weird energy coming off of it. Honestly, I hope I never see something like that again in my life. Hell yeah, I do. I've been working on it for years. I used to collect mineral samples from meteorites that hit Titan, or buy them off pilots at the spaceport. Lynn even contributed to it. She offered me a good-sized chunk of tantalum for my collection, as a signing bonus. Yeah, we are. She's been my boss for a long time. I think of her as a friend. Don't tell her I said this, but she's not as much of a hard ass as she'd like you to think. And despite what she says, I know she has a soft spot for me. I don't. Really. After what happened on Vectera, I seriously needed a break from Argos. And you're not shy about cracking rocks either, so I still get my fix. Well, my dad's not in the picture, but I have the best mom in the settled systems. More brothers than you can shake a stick at, too. Raising us gave Mom a real run for her money. It's a miracle she didn't leave us to freeze at one of the ice mines on Titan. We got in all kinds of trouble as kids. Couldn't tell you. He split to join a spacer group when I was young, and I haven't heard from him since. Broke my poor mom's heart. I was 12. He left while I was out collecting rocks with a couple of my brothers. Didn't say goodbye or anything. Real class act, huh? Mom took it the hardest. She and my dad were together a long time. I don't think she saw it coming. I sure didn't. And most of my brothers were too young to get what was happening, but they could tell how upset our mom was. That was hard on everyone. But hey, we got through it okay in the end. My mom and I leaned on each other and managed to keep things running while we got back on our feet. Nope, and I don't plan on it. He made it pretty clear that he didn't want to know me, so I don't want to know him either. I'm not. My family means a lot to me, and my dad treated him like crap, so I didn't have a very hard time writing him off. Couldn't tell you. Sure, what's on your mind? Fine by me. Well, my dad raising us gave Mom... I've got 6. Evan, Tim, Ethan, Shane, Lucas, and Finn. Or, boys, get the hell down here, as our mom likes to call us. I'm the oldest by a couple years. Finn's the youngest, he's only 10, and the rest of them are moody teenagers. She's a new homesteader, born and raised. Her family's been working the wind farm since the first generation of settlers made it to Titan. She's a great mom. Never lets anyone put her kids down. Oh, you should have seen how mad she got when she found out people at school were making fun of my rock collection. She was so determined to get me to stick with it that she read every geology book I had so she could ask me about my collection. That meant a hell of a lot to me. Yeah, you can say that again. My brothers and I are always up to something. It's a good thing I grew up in a town where our definition of getting into trouble was screwing around with old mining equipment. We would have raised all sorts of hell in a big city like New Atlantis. Knock yourself out, boss. Already taken care of, boss. I donated it to one of the tour companies in New Homestead. Geological formations are one of Titan's big tourist attractions. It hurt my heart a little to give it up, but the woman I donated them to promised they'd give me credit for collecting all the samples, assuming she ever puts them on display. Whether she does or not, I'm glad to know all my hard work won't be gathering dust in a storage unit somewhere. Alrighty.
Sure would be nice to get off world sometime.
You get used to the methane processing smell. After a while.
Oh, it's so cold here. I guess I should have expected that.
How about those brownouts last week?
If you need medical attention, see Dr.
I'm just
Dakota.
glad the
But
auxiliary
a
power
word of
worked out.
warning, she
Remember that time a few years
really
back
doesn't
where
care for
everyone had to
tourists.
huddle together for warmth?
Oh, the tourists hated that.
Hey, you better not be doing any
Joyce says
mining
she's
out
on
there
it.
without me.
Something about the turbines freezing up again.
Joyce is great at what she does. I'm sure she'll handle it.
Warm food, cold drinks. What else could you want?
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
It's been a while since I last
So
visited.
then I told
Nice to see this
that
place
we
still has
churn
the
our
same
own
charm.
butter.
Am I being reassigned
I
somewhere?
completely bought it.
You didn't.
I did. I know I shouldn't have, but I just wanted to see how they'd react.
But aren't they going to think we're even more old-fashioned than they already believe?
That's a good point. They already gawk at us like we're some sort of ancient curiosity.
Oh, I'm just trying to have a little fun. But you're probably right. Put that back.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions.
Did you know the museum here is full of old Earth artifacts?
Cool, huh?
Try not to complicate.
It's one thing to learn about early colony life. It's another to experience it.
Thanks for Let's get that sauce. And by us, I mean you. Thanks again. Have a great day.
It's so cold here.
Warm food, cold drinks. What else could you want? Welcome. I'm Anya. Is this your first time with us at the Brown Horse Tavern? Oh, well, thank you for joining us. You're in for a real treat. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow homemade recipes that have been passed down over hundreds of years. So, what can I do for you? Oh, hardly. The locals pretty much stay away from chunks, so whenever they don't feel like cooking themselves and want a fresh meal, they come to me. Only the tourists eat that junk. But don't tell that to my husband. He manages the chunks. I love him, but he's a bit of a fanatic about it. You mean the Brown Horse? Well, it's only the longest continuous running restaurant since humans started settling outside of Earth. There's a lot of history within these walls. And some damn fine food and drink, if I say so myself. This place has been in my family for generations. My however many, great-grandmother opened it when the first colony started on Titan. Back then, it was a simple mess hall that she chose to put a little extra love and flavor into. And now, it's the pride of New Homestead. Let me show you what we have. Take care. Thanks. Pull up a seat. I'll take care of you. So long. Tell your friends about us.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else. I still can't believe people actually live like this.
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. You'll freeze solid without the proper protection.
Be careful around here. Tourists often get into trouble not watching where they step. Another tourist come to learn about the ice mines, huh? It's dangerous in the ice mines. I'd much rather answer your questions than have you going off to explore on your own. For one, New Homestead is not a wealthy colony. But we also pride ourselves on doing things the old ways. It's part of the living history, they say. We don't mind. We work hard here. It's very rewarding. For drinking water. And we use some of it to produce this air you're breathing. We recycle a lot of what we use, but we still need a nice, steady supply of fresh water. Lucky for us, Titan provides. I'm surprised I still get this question. It's slippery, it's sharp, it can break, it can cave in. Those are just the obvious examples. Titan is also full of methane, which can sometimes be trapped under the ice. As you know, methane can explode under the right conditions. It can also asphyxiate you if you breathe in too much of it. Ah, so you can relate. It's good to talk with someone who understands the challenges of the job. Not everyone does. If I might ask, what do you mind? Ah, I see. I can respect that. We used to do more traditional mining like that here, but it made much more sense to do it off-world, since it takes a lot more effort for less gain. We mostly export methane and other natural gases instead. Anyway, I'm sure we could swap mining stories all day, but I really should be getting back to what I was doing soon. I'm surprised that Titan is also full of... can also... Ah, so if I might ask... I see, a generalist then. I imagine it takes a lot of experience to know how to mine. My job must seem very simple to you. But simple as it may be, still... Anyway, I'm sure we could swap mining stories all day, but I really should be getting back to what I was doing soon. I'm surprised I still get this. Titan is also full. It can also... so you can... If I might ask, what... Oh. That's not what I expected at all when you said you did mining. But, visions, you say? Huh? Well, that sounds more like what those people get up to in Neon, from what I understand. Anyway, I'm sure we could swap my... I'm surprised this. Titan is also full of... It can also asphyxiate. But it is. My parents both died to a methane leak due to an ice mining mishap. It happened while I was away at school. When that happened, I gained a new respect for the job, especially here on Titan. I decided when I grew up, I would work as an ice miner myself. I vowed to take the utmost care and precision so that such a disaster would never happen again. I hope you now have a similar appreciation for the work we do. Bye.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists.
We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
Sector 3.
Again? That's the second time this month.
I know. I'll send someone to go patch it up again. We do what we gotta do until we can get the approval to replace the whole unit.
Well, the leaks haven't been too bad, and it's held together this long, I suppose. We'll make it. Sure would be nice to get off world sometime.
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy. Lots of history here. I'm not sure that these space frog pictures fit with our town's historical aesthetic, but they do bring a smile to my face.
This is a boring assignment, but let's...
Hello.
I can't wait to go away on my learning vacation when I grow up. That's way more awesome wherever you come from than this here.
I'll treat you if you need it. But please, try to be more careful around here.
Ah, there. Always nice seeing a new face.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit.
If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. For your own safety and my sanity. Do you need medical assistance? Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here, and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive. It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much. I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people. The problem is that most of the tourists' injuries are from preventable accidents. Things our people know how to avoid. And often I have to take care of them first because they can't leave with their injuries, so I have to put off seeing my regular patients. So not only am I working extra hard for people who have little respect for me, it comes at the expense of our own. Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain. So I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan. I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief. Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't have any other ideas. The tourism board flat out won't help me, and I don't have money in the budget to hire additional help. And you know these tourists will believe anything they see and hear. I think it's worth a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm back to square one. That's the spirit. To be honest, I'm not sure it'll work either, but I feel like there's no harm in trying. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here.
take vandalism seriously. Don't mess with history.
Welcome to New Homestead.
What can I do for you? Look, I know what I'm asking you to do is pretty silly, but I still think it's worth a shot. I bought it from a private seller. They said they got it from someone who wore it in a secondary school as their sports team mascot. I guess it was supposed to be a tardigrade or something. Anyway, the person I bought it from modified it a bit so they could use it in an independent movie they were making. But I guess that went nowhere, so they had to sell it. Lucky me, I suppose. See, sometimes silly ideas are worth the effort. I'm just happy I was able to find someone willing to help with this ridiculous idea. Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll even let you keep the costume. You wouldn't believe how many off-worlders think hiking the surface of Titan is all fun and games. But, of course, just the basics here, but I'm sure you'll find what you need. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here. What's going on here? I don't see anything wrong. Be well.
Ah! I just have so much energy. I want to run around. Do you have a spaceship? I want to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
You off-worlders have it made. Some say New Homestead is a backwoods town.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over the Brown Horse.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like.